Hello, hope your weekend's wrapping up nicely. I'm Daniel Che for Arirang News. President Park Geun-hye left for Iran for a short but historic trip to expand diplomatic and economic ties with Tehran. It's the first state visit to that country by a Korean president in more than half a century and comes at a time when Iran is emerging from its political and economic isolation following the lifting of sanctions on the country. Song Ji-sun, who is traveling with the president, starts us off.
President Park Geun-hye has become the first South Korean president to visit Iran as she arrived in Tehran Sunday afternoon. On Monday, President Park will start her day with summit talks with President Hassan Rouhani. Revving up economic cooperation will be the key. Diversifying trade items is among the goals, in addition to recovering their bilateral trade volume to the level before the international sanctions were imposed on Tehran. The two sides are likely to ink multiple deals that could help Korean companies take a greater part in Iran's infrastructure projects aimed at rebuilding its economy. President Park and Rouhani will also agree on ways to expand cooperation in areas like health, culture, and ICT, and discuss a range of regional and global issues, including North Korea's nuclear threats. Following summit talks with Rouhani, President Park will also sit down with Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, which could help set the bigger picture for relations between Seoul and Tehran. On Tuesday, President Park will attend business events prepared to better help Korean entrepreneurs enter the Iranian market of 80 million people, which Seoul has tagged the last blue ocean of the Middle East.
사상 최대의 경제 사절단이 동행하고 1대1 비즈니스 상담회도 대규모로 열릴 예정으로 있습니다. 이번 기회에 기업들이 좋은 사업 기회를 찾을 수 있도록 철저하게 이것도 준비해 주기를 바랍니다.
As is customary now, President Park will also encourage Korean nationals living in Iran and attend a culture exchange event showcasing Korea and Iran's traditional assets before leaving Tehran on Tuesday. Song Ji-sun, Arirang News.
And before her departure, President Park expressed hope that her trip to the Middle Eastern country would give bilateral ties a significant boost as the two countries move their relations into the next phase. Kim Min-ji has more on the president's interview with an Iranian news outlet.
President Park Geun-hye hopes Korea and Iran can together write new chapters in history for mutually beneficial cooperative ties, not only in the economy but also in more diverse fields. In an interview with the Islamic Republic news agency before her departure, President Park said that she hopes her trip, the first for a Korean leader since diplomatic ties were established, will be a starting point for more active interaction between the two countries. President Park also welcomed the lifting of sanctions on Iran, saying that the resolution of the Iranian nuclear issue through talks with related parties was meaningful. She said she hoped the move would bring the country new development and prosperity, as well as expand high-level political exchanges with Korea. President Park also expressed a desire to see bilateral trade return to the level seen before the sanctions were imposed. Bilateral trade totaled $17.4 billion in 2011, but fell to $6.1 billion in 2015. In fact, the Korean president is being accompanied by 230 business leaders from large conglomerates and small and medium-sized companies in fields deemed promising for economic cooperation with Iran. With Korean companies' vast experience in energy infrastructure projects, President Park said she hopes to boost the level of exchange in traditional areas of cooperation, such as infrastructure and energy, as well as in future growth engines like IT, healthcare, and the environment. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
Turning our sights now to North Korea, it is believed the submarine-launched ballistic missile the regime claims to have launched successfully last week likely ended in failure. Seoul-based Yonhap News said Sunday, citing multiple government sources, that the projectile launched on April 23rd flew about 30 kilometers before exploding and may have broken into 2 to 3 pieces without the booster separating from the rest of the rocket. That's well short of the 300-kilometer range for this kind of missile, according to military experts in South Korea. Another source said it's possible Pyongyang's military officials and missile developers made false reports to their leader Kim Jong-un, saying the launch was successful. That was one of 4 ballistic missiles the North test-fired in the last 2 months. None of the launches were successful. Staying with North Korea, it has emerged that the regime has been monitoring one of South Korea's embassies in the wake of the first mass defection since the year 2011. Seoul-based Yonhap News reported, citing a South Korean government source, that North Korea photographed the South Korean embassy in order to keep tabs on movements related to defection cases. The source didn't say which embassy was under surveillance. In response, Seoul has advised all diplomatic missions abroad to strengthen security for Korean nationals. The news comes after a group of 13 North Koreans who used to work in the same restaurant in China defected to South Korea last month. And on Saturday, an ethnic Korean pastor with Chinese nationality was found dead in a Chinese city bordering the north. His church was known for supporting defectors, and there are suspicions Pyongyang may have been involved. Some downbeat news on the trade front. Imports and exports shrank for a 16th straight month in April. Oh Soo-young has the concerning numbers for the export-oriented South Korean economy.
16 months of negative growth. That's the trend for both imports and exports in the trade figures for April, released by the Trade Ministry on Sunday. It's also the longest ever export decline for Korea. Outbound shipments amounted to $41 billion, down 11.2% from the same month last year. After hitting a 6-year low in January at around minus 19%, exports seem to pick up a bit, but the latest double-digit drop has put a damper on the brief recovery. Korea's Trade Ministry attributes the downward trend to there having been fewer working days in April, 1.5 days less than last year, accounting for a drop in total exports of roughly 6.2 percentage points. Lower unit prices for petroleum products, chemicals, semiconductors and flat-screen displays also pulled down export figures by 4.5 percentage points. Imports also fell last month, down almost 15% from last year. While the April figures amount to a trade surplus of around $8.8 billion, the simultaneous drop of both inbound and outbound shipments represents a red flag for the Korean economy. In fact, the Trade Ministry says the export prospects for May aren't so rosy either, considering the number of public holidays this month, as well as a protracted global economic slowdown and a slump in oil prices. To rev up the economy, the government has vowed to implement both short and long-term measures to boost the export volume. It will also hold special sales events and engage in diplomatic activities. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
Let's now turn to some uplifting numbers, this time coming from the tech realm. The Samsung Galaxy S7 has been named the best smartphone by a U.S. product rating and review magazine. Consumer Reports gave the Galaxy S7 80 points out of 100 in its April issue. The report gave the gadget high marks for its outstanding features, including its battery life, camera, display, and water resistance. The Galaxy S7 Edge came in second place with 79 points, and the S5, released in 2014, was in third place. Another Korean tech giant, LG Electronics, came in fourth with its new flagship phone, G5. Apple's iPhone 6 and 6S tied for 8th place with 77 points. Tens of thousands of tourists flooded into Korea over the weekend during two major holidays in Asia. An estimated 63,000 Chinese tourists have come into Korea during China's 4-day Labor Day holiday that started Saturday and runs through Monday. And a whopping 83,000 visitors are expected to visit Korea from Japan during its Golden Week celebrations that continues through Friday. One of the most popular destinations, Jeju Island, where more than 20,000 foreign visitors arrived on Saturday and Sunday. Other hotspots include a French village in Gyeonggi-do province and Seoksan Mountain in Incheon, both filming locations for the popular Korean drama My Love from the Stars. Major duty-free stores and popular shopping districts like Myeongdong are also bustling with visitors from abroad. The fermented soybean paste known as cheonggukjang. It is delicious if you can get past the pungent smell. Despite that, the traditional Korean food is believed to have great health benefits. Park Se-young shares how a team of Korean researchers finally gathered scientific evidence to back that fact up.
cheonggukjang, a traditional Korean fermented food, is not only rich in taste. It's also said to help prevent lifestyle diseases and strengthen the immune system, though there was never strong scientific evidence to back that up. Now, a team of Korean researchers believe they have proof of cheonggukjang's ability to inhibit allergic reactions like atopic dermatitis. The soybean paste contains gamma polyglutamic acid, which activates T cells that suppress the immune system. Substances generated by the T cells attack and remove the cells that trigger allergies.
This allows for accurate inhibition of allergic mediators and activation of natural killer T cells, which suppresses the development of basophils.
When mice with allergies were treated with this inhibitor, the allergens in their bodies were cut by half within an hour. After 1 day, the allergens were reduced by 90% and the effect continued for 3 days. This finding, published in the scientific journal PLOS ONE, is expected to contribute to the possible development of new medicines using food ingredients. Park Se-young, Arirang News.
Now for a quick look at the weather before we go. It feels like we're fast-forwarding past spring and straight into summer here in Korea, though it still gets quite chilly when the sun goes down. Turning now to the actual forecast. On Monday, rain is expected nationwide, so if you're in the nation, don't leave home without an umbrella. Seoul will start out the day at 15. Daegu and Cheongju will be at 14. Later on, the mercury will rise all the way to 26 degrees Celsius in Seoul, and Daegu and Cheongju will get up to 25. That's Korea for you. Let's check out the weather conditions in your neck of the woods and around the world. We've come to the end of our newscast. Thanks for staying with us.